Coming up tonight on the news at 6. Governor Steve Bullock says another employee in his office has tested positive for COVID-19.
Plus, we'll take a look at the fundraising for Montana's top law enforcement officer as the race for Attorney General wraps up.
From Montana's news leader, this is MTN News at 6.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the News at 6. I'm Andy Curtis.
And I'm Marian Davidson. Thanks for joining us this evening.
Well, Governor Steve Bullock gave an update on COVID-19 cases within his office today.
He also introduced a couple from Butte who shared their experiences after contracting COVID-19. MTN's Jonathan Ambarian reports.
Governor Steve Bullock confirmed Thursday that a second staff member in his office had tested positive for COVID-19. He said it's a reminder that the virus can affect anyone. The governor's office announced the first positive case Wednesday. 4 other staffers were close contacts with one or both of those employees and are being quarantined. Bullock said he and Lieutenant Governor Mike Cooney were not close contacts and tested negative on Wednesday and Thursday.
And with masking up and following other precautions like sanitation and disinfection in the governor's office, it's our hope that this virus will be contained.
Bullock also introduced Gilbert Herrera and Gina Sandin, a married couple from Butte who both contracted COVID-19. Last month, they began experiencing severe symptoms.
I couldn't breathe. I felt like my chest was constricted, my breaths were shallow, and things were starting to go black.
I was dizzy, delirious. I couldn't stand without getting nauseous.
Both spent multiple days in the hospital and received antiviral treatments. Herrera said he was initially a skeptic about wearing masks and called COVID a shamdemic. Now he says his perspective has changed.
This virus does not care who you are. Doesn't care what color you are, doesn't care, if you're clean, dirty, or whatever. If you're going to get sick, it's going to get you. Now I'm a firm believer in wearing the masks, because I just don't want to see anybody else go through what we had to deal with.
Bullock also provided an update on federal nursing teams who will come to Montana next week to assist rural hospitals that are facing staff shortages. 1 team will go to the High Line, while 2 will go to eastern Montana. 2 more teams will come to the state after the response to Hurricane Zeta. In Helena, Jonathan Ambarian, MTN News.
State leaders also said today that they are working on moving all local health departments' COVID-19 reports onto a new database. They say the change will streamline the process for the state to get updated numbers. The goal is to resolve some of the discrepancies that have appeared between active case numbers in state and local reports.
And the state reported 891 new COVID-19 cases today, pushing the total to more than 31,000 cases. Just under 9,000 of those cases are considered active cases, and 9 more deaths have also been reported since last night, bringing that statewide total to 361. 373 people are currently hospitalized with the virus, and it is important to keep in mind MTN numbers do vary from those reported by state officials because we track data from the state and local health departments to give you the most up-to-date information available. And with the most up-to-date information on weather, Chief Meteorologist Curtis Grevenitz.
All right, get your cameras ready, everybody. No, not to take pictures of Andy Curtis or myself, but the sun is going down and the sunset will be spectacular. It's been great the last couple of days, and look from Geyser off over the high woods. That sun is going down, the color is developing here, and it should be a real pretty sunset here, at least in the western part of the state, closer to the Continental Divide. Wind an issue. Wasn't that bad out there today, but a lake wind advisory, a high wind warning for tomorrow, and a lack of wind, air stagnation, an issue west of the Continental Divide. Also out in the Helena Valley, had a little minor inversion. The air quality not as good out in the valley. But tomorrow it's Friday. Make sure you don't fly away in the wicked wind. I feel like a broken record talking about breaking records, but it's a different kind of record this time around. Record warmth and winter round 2. I'll let you know when it hits coming up.
All right, thanks for that, Curtis. Well, new information tonight in the death investigation of a hiker in Sluice State Park. 20-year-old Brendan Rollins' body was recovered from the state park this past Sunday after an extensive search. According to law enforcement, Rollins and a friend were hiking in the area on Friday and got separated when his friend fell into a ravine. A hunter found the friend in good condition on Saturday morning. Now, according to Cascade County Sheriff Jesse Slaughter, Rollins died of hypothermia and the manner of death was deemed accidental.
Well, we're less than a week away from November 3rd as the contest for Montana's top law enforcement officer wraps up with some impressive fundraising numbers. As of October 14th, Republican Attorney General candidate Austin Knudsen raised a total of $402,000 for his campaign, around $31,000 of which came from PACs. He also loaned his campaign $3,500 and spent another $5,000 of his own money. The rest came from individuals. And Democrat Rafe Graybill's campaign raised just over $700,000 as of October 14th. Around $25,000 of that comes from PACs and individuals. He spent around $2,200 of his own money on the race as well. Graybill said he's proud to have grassroots efforts from both Republicans and Democrats that have contributed to record numbers.
Our campaign has raised twice the record in Montana for an attorney general's race, and that's entirely a reflection of how real individual donors support our race.
Now, Graybill will be in Great Falls Friday to meet with constituents and hammer home his message to undecided voters. MTN News did reach out to Austin Knudsen and his campaign. We have not heard back. And young voter turnout trends in elections have historically been lower compared to older voters.
MTN's Gabby Crevitt has more on how this year young voters may be heading to the polls in larger numbers, including right here in Montana.
Just days away from Election Day, political researchers are diving into the early voting data to see what the numbers are saying. One group of voters they'll be paying close attention to, the youth vote. A recent study from the Center for Information and Research on Civic Learning and Engagement shows early votes casted by youth ages 18 to 29 are up this year in many parts of the country, compared to around the same time as the 2016 general election cycle. Montana is one of the states showing more voter participation among young voters. Back in 2016, around late October, around 8,100 young voters had returned their ballots. As of late last week, the study says around 28,600 ballots were reported returned.
Young people often will vote a little bit later in the election season and are less likely to be voting early compared to their older counterparts. So these next couple of days will really tell us whether we're going to be busting through records on youth voter turnout or not.
Political science professor at Montana State University, David Parker, said young people are very motivated to head to the polls this year. The driving forces?
The economy and pandemic. I mean, these young voters are going into college and having a college experience that they don't like, or if they're not going to college, they're probably going into a job market, which is awful because of the pandemic.
The study also showed a significantly higher number of ballots requested by young people in 2020 compared to 2016. But Forward Montana says that number is a bit misleading.
We just opted in a ton of our counties to all mail-in. So people are getting ballots whether or not they request them if they're in one of those counties.
MTN News asked what's fueling young voters in Montana this year.
They've been energized over the last 4 years, and then there's a marijuana initiative on the ballot.
There are a ton of young people that are really motivated and super mobilized by this election and all of the issues, all of the candidates up and down the ballot.
Reporting in Gallatin County, Gabby Crevitt, MTN News.
Still ahead on the news at 6, after a 1974 Missoula cold case murder was solved, the family is now planning a memorial.
Montana's news leader. You're watching MTN News at 6.
Welcome back, everybody. Thanks for spending some time with us here tonight. The McGinnis family was able to find some closure this week after law enforcement announced they had solved who had killed Siobhan McGinnis in 1974.
Now the family is working to memorialize Siobhan with the help of a local Missoula organization. MTN's Connor McCauley reports.
After 46 long years, investigators announced earlier this week they had solved the cold case of Siobhan McGinnis' murder. Now the McGinnis family, with the help of the ZAC, is working to put together a memorial in her honor. The The ZAC's executive director, Kia Lizak, says that the hope is to put together enough funds to create a memorial garden on the roof of the ZAC. There's currently a fundraiser that the McGinnises, along with the ZAC, have helped organize online. Lizak says that they were honored that the family approached them for the memorial and that she hopes the project can help the family and Missoula community heal.
I think a lot of Missoulians carry this story with them. I remember growing up as a little girl and hearing this story and the fear and just the sadness around it. So we were really honored to be able to do something to help promote the healing.
If the rooftop garden idea doesn't work out, Lizak says that they'll work with the McGinnis family to put together some different type of memorial, like a statue or a mural or a garden located in a different space. You can donate to this memorial online, and we'll have a link on our website. In Missoula, Connor McCauley, MTN News.
All right, now let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Curtis Grevenitz for what's coming up in weather.
Well, just a few days ago, you wouldn't be wearing short sleeves outside with record cold. Well, you might want to break out the t-shirts here as we're looking at record warmth potentially. I'll let you know when coming up in the forecast next.
Tracker weather starts now with Chief Meteorologist Curtis Grevenitz.
All right, welcome back. Good Thursday evening, everybody. Once again, sunset should be pretty good in the western part of the state, including around the Great Falls area. Warm temperatures today made it up into the low 60s in Great Falls, and currently it is 54. Kind of hard to believe. Just a few days ago, we were talking about statewide record cold and record snow here, but alas, we do live in Montana. 45 degrees in Helena. It is actually warmer up on top of McDonald Pass than it is out in the Helena Valley right now because of a minor inversion that we've been dealing with here over the last few days. That's why Helena and Missoula both at 45. The rest of the state, yeah, it's a little cooler up northeast Montana, but still 60 degrees right now in Livingston. The wind, not so bad out there right now. Enjoy it because that wind is really going to ramp up tomorrow. Thus, we've got a high wind warning for the Rocky Mountain front out through central Montana. Windy tomorrow morning, but it really picks up in intensity through the afternoon and the evening. And once the front goes through Helena around 4 or 5 o'clock, that's when the wind in the valley will really pick up. The good news is this wind should get rid of some of that nasty air west of the Continental Divide. Very windy tomorrow evening all the way into Saturday morning. And this weekend really should be very nice. The wind dies down on Saturday, and Sunday won't be that windy either. Now the high wind warning though, Cup Bank, Chester, down through places like Dutton and Great Falls out into Judith Basin County does not include Helena. It will be a windy day, just in that high wind warning criteria. Likely we won't see a gust up to 50, 60, 70 miles per hour in Helena like you potentially will see into the areas off towards the north. Kind of a tough day to tow a trailer if you're traveling on any north-south routes, including Interstate 15. And there's that air stagnation advisory. By the way, Helena, the air quality is moderate right now because of the minor inversion. Precipitation, a little spits going on into parts of the Dakotas. And then also what was Hurricane Zeta is now moving up into the northeast with some rain and even a little snow up into New England. So for Montana, though, tonight's a pretty night. Again, the sunset right now is very, very nice. It will be for the next half hour, 45 minutes. It's almost a full moon. We get a full moon on Halloween, so very big, bright moon out there tonight. Tomorrow, a mostly sunny day, but you're probably looking at the rain and mountain snow working its way down the Continental Divide and the Rocky Mountain front through the afternoon and the evening. We could see a couple of rain showers, brief rain showers around 4, 5, 6 o'clock in Helena. Some snow up on the Continental Divide. It's a brief passing shower. It may come down pretty heavily or intense for a few minutes, but that's about it. Then we clear things out going through Friday night into Saturday. Maybe a little breezy central eastern Montana, but almost calm conditions in the western part of the state. For tonight, again, it's a pretty night, pretty sunset. Temperatures not too cold, close to average. Most towns should have lows in the upper 20s to the lower 30s here. Helena, with temperatures dropping down below the freezing point, could be a little spotty, icy in a few areas. For tomorrow, certainly not icy. We'll have high temperatures up into the 50s and the 60s once again. there's that front that could bring a few showers to the Helena area tomorrow afternoon, around again 3, 4 o'clock. For Saturday, a couple things going on here. Should be a nice day, a little on the cooler side, but the last few Halloweens have been on the snowier side. But it's Halloween, and then after you're trick-or-treating, safely, turn those clocks back on Saturday night. It is the 49-hour weekend coming up here as we fall back. Daylight saving time comes to an end. Sunday, November 1st. How many November 1st look like this with sunny skies and temperatures up into the 50s? And if you like that late fall warmth, it gets even better on Monday. 60s and 70s. I do think a few records will be broken coming up here on Monday. Maybe not for Helena. We'll likely hold out into the 60s there, but looking unusual here, especially after all the record cold and snow that we've had. So pretty pleasant. Enjoy the 50s and the 60s and the sunshine through the weekend. Great Falls, yeah, windy tomorrow, but still 64, a little cooler on Saturday. Great Falls likely at least tying the record high coming up on Monday. And things start to go downhill late next week. It does look like the first full weekend of November. Winter returns.
Sounds about right. Thanks a lot for that, Curtis. And coming up next, you might not know her right now, but that'll change. How a young woman from Great Falls may soon become a household name.
From Montana's news leader, you're watching MTN News at 6.
Welcome back, everybody. A young woman from Great Falls, now living in Washington, D.C., may soon become a household name.
MTN's Coulter Anstadt tells us how Keely Summer is giving her hometown a voice.
Keely Summer has been practicing to be a musician since she was 13 years old. On Friday, the CMR High School and MSU alum will release her first song.
The song is called Sleeping Alone. It was a quarantine collaboration. I met my collaborator, Jonathan Rock Adamus, online, and he is based out of Los Angeles. And so the entire song was crafted out of demos just being emailed back and forth to each other.
I look too good to be alone. She is proud to be able to put Great Falls and the state of Montana in the spotlight.
It's really important to me to represent the Mountain West. I always brag about being from Montana because I love being rooted in a place that has such beautiful landscapes.
Her message?
Anything you're passionate about, don't allow yourself to be discouraged from following it. Being involved in arts programs and music, especially for me, was instrumental in my growth as a person. And even if it weren't what I were trying to do full time, it's still just an incredible supplementary thing to be involved in.
As for the song, she says it's a mix of her country and folk roots and electronic and pop.
Should've gone out with my friends. Well, hopefully people from both Montana and larger cities can connect to that. I look too good to be alone.
In Great Falls, Coulter Anstadt, MTN News.
Sleeping Alone will be available on all music streaming platforms, and she hopes to be able to release more music next year. And stay where you are. We've got highlights from the AA State Soccer Championship game when we come back.
Montana's news leader. You're watching MTN News at 6.
All right, everybody, welcome back. How about a little State AA Championship soccer to end things for you tonight? The Helena High girls and Kalispell Glacier Wolfpack playing earlier today for all the marbles. Now, the Bengals swept the Wolfpack in the regular season, but the teams played quite the chess match through the first half. Glacier, though, would be the ones to strike first. Taylor Breesendine pokes one through. She'll make it 1-0 for the Wolfpack, and that lead would hold throughout the rest of the match as Kalispell Glacier wins their first State AA girls soccer title in program history. Now, we'll have more tonight and up on montanasports.com for you, but a big congratulations to the Bengals ladies on one heck of a season.
Yeah, good for them making it that far. Very exciting.
Absolutely.
And that does it for the news at 6.
We'll catch you back here tonight at 10. Have a great night.